Hello, my friends. We are back with another episode of the Career Diet Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Believa, a career coach and a LinkedIn learning instructor. We are so close to the holidays, and I'm getting so excited. My partner has a big family. So we have multiple days of celebrations with extended family, then with his siblings and his mom on Christmas Day. There is always a bit of a chaos. There's a lot going on, but it is very, very special. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm also taking a bit of a break after Christmas, and my plans are to watch rom coms, bake cookies, and really just rest and recover. Now, I also know that for a lot of us, going into the holidays and seeing family and seeing extended family can be stressful and can feel overwhelming because you know that they're going to be asking you questions. They're going to be checking in, asking you about how that job search is going. And that can feel intrusive and that can feel like a lot. And that can trigger certain responses with you inside of you where you feel like, I feel worse than I did going into it. And I already felt like the year maybe didn't end where you wanted it to end. Maybe you didn't land that opportunity yet. And now having these conversations is bringing all of that back up. So I wanted to create this episode and talk to you about how you're going to be creating boundaries and having conversations with people when those questions about job search come up. That will be part of this episode. I will also talk about how you can potentially use some of those conversations for your advantage so that you're actually taking your job search forward. And then towards the end, we'll also talk about what you can do to feel better about the year that you had and feel like you are a superstar again, that you have achieved a lot and that you're not behind, so that going into January, you're feeling amazing, you're feeling excited, and you're ready to go all out and make that dream opportunity happen for you in Q1. So let's dive into the episode, my friend. I want to start by talking about setting boundaries with your family. So, I'm going to give you a script that I want for you to have prepared. And when you communicate this message to the family member who is asking about how your job search is going, and you know that that's not the family member that you necessarily want to have this conversation with, you know that you're not going to feel good, that you're going to feel pressured, that you're going to feel like you're not moving fast enough. Maybe they're going to offer you their opinion on how you should be doing this. So that's the script that you're going to use. Now, before I talk about the specific script, I want for you to go into these family gatherings, or maybe you're seeing friends. I want for you to go into it with this idea of being as protective as you can be of your energy and of your inner peace. People that you're talking to, friends, family, they don't know exactly what you're going through. They have no idea what you do in your job on a daily basis. Even people who are very close to you, they really don't have a good understanding of what you do. They have no idea what it's like to be job searching right now. They don't know what it's like to be you. So you have to be very protective of your own energy and of your peace. Okay. So we're going to be setting boundaries. And yes, some people won't respect that boundary and they will continue asking questions. You will just repeat the script once again. All right. So here's what you're going to say. Thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate that you take interest in my career. I am progressing and I will share my updates with you when I'm ready. Now, if that person continues to push and continues to ask you, oh, well, how are you progressing? What's going on? Repeat that sentence once again. Again, and Susan, really appreciate it. I'm not ready to share yet. Just know that I am progressing and I am right on track. So, the reason we don't ever want to say, whether it's out loud or in your own head, we don't ever want to say, oh, it's really hard, or it's not going as well as I thought it would be. Oh, it's bad job market right now. We don't want to say that because once you say that, your brain will be looking for proof that that's true. So you will continue to feel worse and worse. And the more proof that you have that you are not where you want to be or that the job market is bad, that's going to be your reality. So, and we'll talk about it later in this episode, that you are progressing, that you are moving forward. We'll find proof of that together. So this is a reminder for you that you are progressing. So that's the message that you're going to be using with your family and with yourself. I am progressing. I'll share when I'm ready. So, once again, go into those gatherings with those clear boundaries in mind, with that script in mind, and that will allow you to enjoy the holidays without that added stress. All right, another thing I wanted for us to talk about here is that not every friend, not every family member is the same. So, I want for you to be very mindful of who you're having these conversations with. If it's your second grand aunt and maybe she is much older, maybe she hasn't job searched ever or in 30 years, and you know that this is not going to be a good conversation, then yes, just set that boundary and repeat it if you need to. Now, going into that family gathering, I also think about, is there anyone in my extended family who can be actually a good person to chat with about this? Maybe they're well connected. Maybe it's your uncle that you see once a year and you realize, well, he's not really in my target industry or my target company, but he has been in the corporate world for 40 years and he is very senior. He for sure knows people. So that's the person that you actually want to talk about this with. So, with someone like that, if you know there's someone you're going to be seeing over the holidays, make it your goal to actually have a conversation with them and maybe set up another chat with them. Think about who that person is and think about how you're going to say it. And again, set that intention that you're going to have the conversation with them. So, what I would do in your conversation with them, I would first ask them about how their work is going, what they're working on, what they're going to be working on in 2025. So, again, show interest and give them that space to share. That is the number one rule of relationship building and networking in general. After you give them that space to share, what I would do is show them that you're a superstar, that you are not just sitting there and waiting for someone to help you, but that you have been taking proactive action. So you can mention, hey, I have been looking for new opportunities for the last few months, and I have taken some time to narrow it down what is the right path for me. And after I have talked to three people in the ABC company and in the XYZ company, I have narrowed it down to ABC type of role. I know, Uncle Ben, that you're that you know a lot of people. I was actually wondering if there's anyone that maybe comes to mind when you're thinking about this ABC type of role or XYZ company that you think I should talk to. So, my friend, protect your energy going into the holidays and into family gatherings. Some people can unintentionally add pressure and negativity. That said, there are people in your immediate family and close circle who can be valuable connections and can offer valuable introductions and advice that you haven't reconnected with. So recognize the opportunities that these family gatherings can offer you. Now, with these family gatherings and the year coming to an end, what pretty much all of us are doing naturally, it's just how the media has set it up for us. We're reflecting on the past year. We're thinking about what has worked, what hasn't worked, what goals we've achieved, and what we haven't achieved. And if you have been job searching and you haven't landed this opportunity yet, it's possible that maybe you're feeling a little bit down. What I want for you to spend some time on during the holidays is to celebrate your progress and wins. And I'm going to share a few prompts with you to help you find them. And if you have a chance right now to pause the podcast and reflect on them, do it right now. I challenge you to do it right now, immediately. If maybe you're driving right now or walking your dog and you can't necessarily write anything down, I'm going to add these same questions in the show notes so that you can come back to this episode later today, because if you don't do it today, you probably won't come back to it. So come back to it later today and look through the prompts. And I really encourage you to sit with it, make your favorite drink, and reflect. So here are three prompts that I have for you. What skills did you learn this year? What lessons did you take away from your job search? How have you grown professionally and personally, even maybe without landing the job yet? Now, even if your wins feel small, celebrate them, find them. And my friends, little things that you take towards your big goal. So, taking some time to practice interview skills, or sending out 5 connection requests, or sitting down for a coffee chat with someone, or landing the first interview. Maybe you didn't go through to the second round, but landing that first interview. All of those steps are wins towards your big goal. And you need to make it a habit to recognize all of those steps and all of those wins. In fact, I think I've shared that on the podcast in the past that I tell my clients every single Friday to sit down and reflect on their week and find wins from their job search so that they're feeling like a winner every single week and not just when they land the job. So sit down, find your wins, celebrate them, celebrate yourself, and really bring yourself to that energy of, you know what? I am a superstar. I have done a lot this year, and I have paved the foundation for myself to land that dream opportunity in 2025. All right. And finally, with all of that in mind going into the holidays, the final piece that I have for you here is to actually take rest. This final week before January is the time for you to actually slow down, recharge, and refill your cup. And I want to remind you that rest doesn't necessarily mean just being on the couch for a week. In the last year and a half, have been studying burnout and healing burnout and different types of rest that all of us need. So I have a few ideas for you of what you can do to refill your cup that are not just laying on the couch. Number one is physical activity. Every single piece of research on rest and burnout tells us that physical activity is the number one way to start healing and to actually feel restful. So it can look like going on walks. It can look like doing a winter sport. It can look like yoga. It can look like go to the gym. Whatever it is, doing physical activity is the number one thing that you can do for yourself. Number two is hobbies. This is the time to re-engage and rediscover activities that you know you love, that you know bring you joy, that maybe you haven't touched in weeks or even months because you have been busy. Is it knitting? Is it I've been drawing quite a bit and I've been coloring? I find that that has been a very cup filling activity for me. So, what is it that you can do during the holidays that fills your cup? Next is social connection. We have talked about some family gatherings and they can be overwhelming. I myself am an introvert and I really enjoy social activities, but they also are very draining to me if it is a big group of people. So, who of the people that you know, when you spend time with them, you walk away and you feel that your cup is full, you feel recharged? Is it a friend? Message them, invite them on a coffee, invite them to catch up during this holiday season. And the final tip that I have for you is to be very mindful of the type of content that you consume on social media. If all content that you see is politics or world events, that can be quite stressful. Or I have, for example, been seeing a lot of content on just clothing and shoes and fashion. And I actually don't find it enjoyable. I find that it kind of promotes overconsumption and it shows all the things that they kind of tell you that you should have and that you should buy. And it's not really something I believe in and I really value. So I have made a decision for myself that I'm not going to be consuming that type of content, even though it might be easy to consume. But I am actively searching for content that makes me feel good. So, content, for example, that makes me laugh. So, watching a good movie, watching a comedy, watching a stand up comedy, that's the type of content that I seek out. And I encourage you to be very mindful when you're scrolling on social media. Be very mindful of how does this make me feel? Does it make me feel good? Is it something that fills my cup, or I'm just being really mindless here? All right, my friends. So we talked about 4 components of you going into the holidays as a job seeker. We talked about boundaries, we talked about mindful conversations, celebrating wins, and finally resting. I'm wishing you the loveliest time with your family and your loved ones during this holiday season. Enjoy, celebrate, rest, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.